Fashion fades, but style is forever. But can one really live without the other? I don't know, man. I think we're going to get that question answered in this video today because we're going to give a full breakdown of the differences between fashion and style. And yes, there is a difference, a huge difference as a matter of fact. Now, I know we all heard these terms that reference fashion being temporary and style being forever. And there's a lot of backing behind this, I'm not going to lie. I think one of the biggest and truest examples that proves that to be true is money can't buy style. But in order for us to get a clearer understanding of the difference between the two, I'm going to just give y'all a quick breakdown of what I would define these two to be. Now, fashion I would explain as dynamic. I think it constantly evolves and reflects whatever is going on in current culture, whether that's influenced by whatever is going on socially or economically at the time. I think that it kind of embodies clothing designs, whether that be colors, patterns, specific type of accessories, footwear, whatever is current and gaining popularity with a large audience. And with that being said, I think designers and fashion houses play a massive role when it comes to setting the tone by creating collections that basically becomes the standard for that season. So I think those potential trends get put into the light by various channels such as fashion shows, magazines, and social media, which then shapes whatever the choices and preferences are of consumers. And then you got style, which unlike fashion is a lot more internal and deeply personal. It reflects a person's preferences, values, identity, making each person's style a one-of-a-kind expression of who they are. I think personal style allows for a more adaptive approach to what fashion is. It involves being a curator of what you want in your wardrobe, forcing you to incorporate pieces that resonate with the individual rather than just following the latest fashion trends. Because we all know trends kind of come and go, and personal style usually remains pretty constant. So with those definitions, I think it's a little bit easier to break down and kind of go back and forth between fashion and style and how they relate to each other. Now, when it comes to fashion, you have things like trends and seasons, which play a huge role in how we dress. Now, unlike personal style, I think fashion often follows trends that change with seasons or specific periods. I think the trends and seasons are influenced by designers, runway shows, and popular culture. This is why we have these different eras of like brands or popular items and even aesthetics, to be honest. And I'll give y'all a couple examples. If y'all remember in like 2016, fashion looked completely different. It was a lot more of like a streetwear slash skate culture. So a lot of different popular brands I would say was like Supreme, Vans, Palace. Even the way you had to go about getting these items were different culturally. That's why a lot of people kind of reminisce on those time frames where you had to like actually go out and wait in front of a store early in the morning to be able to secure your pair or clothing item from a specific brand. Then you have the following year, like 2017, where you had different things like the homeless or Yeezy type of style, where we had like the super extended long tees, we had holes and everything. It was really like a crazy time when you go back and think about it. You had, of course, like Yeezy and Fear of God being like at the head of what was going on culturally. Leading into current day, which I think would be more geared towards like big designer brands and meme culture. So you'll see different things like Balenciaga or very like avant-garde brands like a Rick Owens or something like that. And then following the definition that I talked about earlier, which you'll have different culture shifts like TikTok. TikTok is a huge culture shift, and fashion kind of adapted that and showed us different trending things along the way. But how that relates to style is you'll see people who have style, and we're almost like the curators to whatever is going on in the fashion world. So if you look at certain individuals with style, we all went through these same time periods where we had the same fashion pieces or brands or culture presented to us, and we just picked and chose what we wanted to grab from whatever was either trending or what we liked at that given moment. So though the fashion and the culture kind of evolves, your favorite icons usually stay the same and always have this certain sense of style to them. Even your personal taste and preferences is curated from whatever happened in your life. So whether you gravitate to a certain type of music, certain hobbies, TV shows, your job occupation could play a role in in what your personal style is. And I think this is why we oftentimes find ourselves gravitating towards people who dress a certain way. Because what you choose to wear is almost like a language that's unspoken. You can pretty much look at somebody and know if you potentially have something in common or not. With that being said, flipping back onto the fashion side, I think that everything fashion related comes from external influences. So you might have things like celebrity endorsements, media. These all heavily impact fashion trends to the point to where a lot of brands nowadays will just go and grab their favorite influencers to have them make something trend. That way, the fashion gets what they need. They need these influencers to kind of feed off of the product that they just designed in order to have other people incorporate their fashion into style. So it's really almost like a chicken or the egg type of thing, if you ask me. And it's kind of interesting because fashion sometimes is like dictated by whatever the industry trends are rather than individual preferences. Like, I know we all like to look at designers and see them as these crazy innovators, but when you are at big scale, you almost have to work with what's selling and what people are picking. I know us as fans of certain designers and brands would like to think that they are just coming in and innovating right off the bat, which might be true to a certain extent, but what you'll see in the public eye is the trending things because that is what sells and keeps these brands alive. I think on the flip side of that, style is a lot more timeless and not bound to specific trends. This is usually why you'll see a fashion item trend and be out of style before you see your favorite fashion icon or influencer not be cool anymore. The icons or influencers are usually curators of the trends and aesthetics. And if you're the curator of something, it holds a lot more weight than whatever the current trend is. Now, for the last section of the video, I wanted to bring both together so that you can see the relationship between fashion and style, because I don't really think that you can have one without the other. And I think the bridge between the two is individual interpretation. I think as a person with style, I think it's very important that we take what we are given from fashion and use it in our own way. I think as individuals, we can kind of look at fashion as a tool to use it in our unique style, because I think the same fashion item can be styled in different ways by different people. Like, for an example, if I was to hand everybody a pair of Air Force Ones, tell them to go back home and come back to this very point with an outfit on, using these all white shoes as a base, everybody would come in with a different outfit on. It all just depends on your taste and vibe and what you're used to and what you're comfortable in. So that right there pretty much shows the entire relation. I think it's also important to note that both start to evolve over time. Personal style, we all know, is a process that changes throughout our entire lives. We often incorporate either new fashion items that are trending, or we go back and we mix classic items and mix it with the new. So it's almost like these things are running in the same race, and one might at some point get in front of the other, but it almost like always catches up to each other and ends up in the same space. So I think in conclusion, fashion is external and trend driven, while style is a lot more internal and personal. I would always encourage you all to find your own style using fashion as a medium to self-express yourself. That's such an OG like wisdom bar. I don't even know where I came up with that, man, but that is pretty much it for the video. Make sure that you share this video to a person who you think needs to know the difference between fashion and style, and I'll be back to y'all with more, man. Peace.